great show planned for you. We are talking NHL recaps, NBA recaps. We're doing our weekly NFL division breakdown of the AFC West and some very good final thoughts. So let's go.
And welcome to Trophy Kids, presented by Bad News Media. It is June 5th. We've got ourselves an NHL Stanley Cup Series. How the hell are we today?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing good. Well, considering the facts that the Bruins lost last night, but doing pretty good overall. As we just alluded to, we have a series in actually both of them, the NHL and NBA, which is always good. We start right off with the NHL. The weekend was interesting for me because I had my girlfriend's birthday on Saturday, so I was that dude at the bar just had my game on the cell phone trying to stream it. We laid them out to the slaughterhouse.
Absolutely.
And then game 4 kind of rolls around, and the Blues do what they've been doing all season, which is just, have a bad game and then come back and just play tense hockey. So we got our series, which I thought going into it we'd have 5 or 6 games, so I'm not worried right now, but good start to it.
I am surprised. Yeah, I kind of thought you guys would probably kind of manhandle them. I had my money on you guys yesterday. I had my money on Game 3 as well, so that paid off, but yesterday did not. But yeah, you're right. The Blues have just done this all year. Their goaltender's done it all year. I mean, his stats coming off a loss are like ridiculous. I think he has like 1.89 goals against average. I mean, he's ridiculous. So, I mean, yeah, I'm surprised that it's a series, but I'm happy it's a series because who doesn't like a good Stanley Cup final? Because last year, let's just face it, the Caps just smoked the shit out of Vegas. Didn't give you much of a series, huh?
Yeah, that's true. It's good. I mean, Game 3, I had them all 3 ways: Bruins money line, spread, and over. The overs have been just crushed.
Oh my god, the over in Game 3 was just like, that's gonna hit. I mean, like 10 minutes in, we're like, that's a hitter.
I caught in the live bet too on the way up. I was like, "This is beautiful."
Yeah, that's crazy.
And last night too hit as well. But Game 4, here's the thing about St. Louis. They are, and this is going to sound bad coming from a Boston team, an incredibly dirty team, which started off the series with a straight crossfest to David Backes. And if you're going to play that way, that's fine. But then you can't be bitching about the refs, which does work. Don't get me wrong. It definitely has helped them. But dirty teams like the Bruins, if they are complaining about the refs, I would say the same thing. Like, you can't do that when you're obviously doing these things. And I'm getting very sick and tired of them running in and hitting Tuukka Rask every single time.
They are hitting him a lot. He is getting hit a ton. And it's weird. You're right. They are dirty. I mean, at this point in the season, now you only have 2 teams, but every team's dirty. But they are dirty, and they're also some floppers. Vladimir Tarasenko on that high stick. Beautifully played. Beautifully played, but he didn't get touched.
He looked like he belonged in the English Premier League. Like, that was absolutely insane. And Bennington, the goalie, did the same thing when Marchand hit him in the leg. Oscar performances.
He was on the ice, just like.
Who would think he got cross-checked from behind?
There was a sniper in section 410, just like shot him in the knee. Yeah, he did. That was a serious flop. But it's interesting, but. We'll see.
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Game 4 was, I thought, in the second period, because the Blues were they came out ready to play. I don't know if it's the Bruins just getting contempt because they just absolutely slaughtered them in Game 3, where they came out and they're just getting pass happy, and the Blues do a good job of getting in the lanes, passing lanes. But there's that 10-minute span where they were just pounding Tuukka. He circled the Dragons, protected the net. They get that penalty, which the Bruins, I think, are right now 35 for 37 in the penalty kill right now. And we scored the shorthanded goal. I thought right then the game was over.
Yeah, so did I.
Surely enough.
I thought that was it right then. And Tuukka played well, I thought. Tuukka played well. He had some great saves. Yeah.
I blame that on all the stars who, like Brad Marchand, giving up an awesome opportunity to shoot the puck to give a dinky little pass, trying to be too fancy with it. So, like I alluded to, not that worried. I think it's going to go.
How are you feeling for these next best of 3 now?
Yeah. Here's what I'd say. This Game 5 is not as much of a must-win for the Bruins, I think, because you still have – the top guys, when they turn it on, they can turn it on. You could say the same thing for the Blues. I think it's much more of a game win for the Blues to then go back to their corner.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
I will say this: both teams have done well to responding to like previously very physical games. Like both teams have been able to turn it on, and that's where I think the Bruins are good. I think they're going to not get content, not try to do all this fancy nonsense in what they did in Game 4 and in Game 5. Just be aggressive, and that's the way you're going to beat the Blues.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the Bruins will take it, but I think it's going 7.
Yeah, there's a good solid chance that it goes 7.
I hope it does. Yeah, I think it is.
And as we alluded to earlier, the NBA, we've also got a series in the NBA. 1-1, but it is the Drake show. 1,010.
It really is. It really is.
I don't know if
I was thinking about I was thinking about points to come up with to talk about the game, and I'm like, I'm watching these games, and I feel like I'm seeing more of Drake than the actual game. I don't really have much to say. And then on top of it, the games are so spread out in the NBA Finals. I forget what's going on at this point. I'm like, these 2 days off, 3 days off are ridiculous. I mean, these guys in hockey are playing every other day. Come on.
Yes, I agree. When I was preparing for the show today, I literally was thinking to myself, like, what am I really going to talk about? And I have some very small things, but it was mostly Drake is the storyline at this point.
Yes.
Even after the game, they weren't even talking really about the Golden State performance, which was incredible given what they had to go through. They were talking about Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson chirping him in the hallway about going back to the Bay.
Talking shit with Drake. It's just the weirdest thing ever. I was thinking about, Steph's played okay. Klay's played well. He might be hurt. I don't know what's going on with Klay. But he's playing well. Draymond's playing well. But I'm like, I mean, at this point, if I had to choose an MVP, I know it's only 2 games in. Is it Draymond? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Iggy, of course, had his signature play that I feel like he has every time the Golden State goes on to win a championship. There's one game where Iggy really has a moment that it's going to end up on the CD at the end of the run.
Yeah, always a big time contribution from Iggy. Always.
We alluded to the Klay thing. That's the real note. Golden State, Toronto not to pull that win out last night or 2 nights ago. God, they are spread out.
It's so spread out. You can't remember what's going on.
It's like, oh wait, they didn't play last night. They played 2 nights ago.
It's insane.
Yeah, that is tough because you got Klay Thompson, who's got a hamstring injury, who's questionable. You have Looney that went down. You had DeMarcus Cousins sucking air trying to play, who played great, by the way, for the minutes he needed to get. But yeah, they're banged up, and they brought in the box and 1, which I don't think anybody on that court's seen since the AAU circuit in high school. I think Golden State's in trouble if they can't get a little healthy.
They need to get healthy. They need to get healthy quick because I already saw KD's out tomorrow or today. And so yeah, they definitely need to get healthy. And Klay hurt his hamstring, I think.
He did on the kick out.
I'm no doctor. Yeah, all the kick out as well. When you do a kicking out, and that's what you get. I'm no doctor, but I don't think a hamstring doesn't heal too quick, and I think it's really easy to re-injure. That's what I hear. I don't know, but
yeah. I don't know if anybody's noticed. We're not exactly NBA talented players here, but
I don't blow hamstrings because I don't really have hamstrings, so it's
exactly.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, they're in trouble, I think. It's not great that Toronto couldn't close that game out, but I definitely think they're in trouble because while Golden State has depth, you saw with that box and 1, it was pretty efficient.
Plus,
you shut down Steph, there's not enough guys to go to win a game against Kawhi and that squad.
That's true, and I'll give it to him. Van Vliet, he plays Steph well.
Yes.
He plays him very well.
Very well. Van Vliet's having a great series, great NBA playoffs.
He really is.
But I also thought that series was going, I think I said 5 or 6 and you said one or the other, so we're still well within our target range. But we got at least have a basketball game going on because we initially thought that was going to be a blowout.
Yeah.
Now on to what really matters.
Oh, yeah.
Our NFL divisional weekly breakdown. I'm so excited. I saw Gerald McCoy, who got signed by the Panthers, roaming around today, and I was like, oh, man, he did his little run out when he's flying. I'm like, I just cannot wait until we get this going. All righty. We are doing the AFC West, though. The division, honestly, one of the more entertaining divisions, if we think about it. But I'm starting with my favorite team, Los Angeles Chargers, who
I fucking love this team.
Yes.
I'm in love with this team.
But I will say this. I was thinking before I did when I was doing my prep, I was like, I don't really remember them doing anything this offseason.
Yes.
That's literally because they
did. I have that note. Didn't lose much, didn't gain much.
Yeah.
But they were good, so whatever.
Yeah. They're like two creators of a show that had really good runs, and then when it came to write the final one, just forgot to do anything because they literally have 4 lines of transaction history on their wire. But
they didn't really do anything.
They were 12-4 last year.
Exactly.
And are loaded.
Loaded, man. And they are loaded. I mean, they lost Tyrell Williams, but I 100% think Mike Williams is perfectly capable of replacing that and being potentially better.
100%.
I mean, I just love I love that. This is what I did when I was looking at the team. I looked at their offense and go, wow, I love their offense. I wrote that down in my notes. I'm like, I love their offense. And then I look at the rest of the team and I go, oh shit, I just love this team. I look at the defense, I'm like, oh shit. But I mean, they're loaded. I mean, on offense, obviously they got Phillip, they got Keenan Allen, Travis Benjamin, Mike Williams, Melvin Gordon. I mean, Hunter Henry. Shout out Stephen A. Smith. Hunter Henry is actually playing, so if you want to talk about him, now you can. But I mean, this team's stacked. I love it. And like you said, they were 12-4 last year, and that was with injuries. I mean, I think obviously Keenan Allen's health is huge. It's huge every year. If Keenan Allen stays healthy, then losing Tyrell Williams isn't going to matter. Melvin Gordon, I think, he's a top 3, top 4 running back in the league. That I don't really think. I almost think he's a little underrated. Melvin Gordon's an absolute stud.
Yeah, because he can do some things out of the backfield. I love Keenan Allen, too, because he's a stud, and everybody forgets it until that one Monday night, Thursday night game where they're on primetime, and he just goes off in his hoodie.
He has like 18 receptions. It's retarded.
And everybody's like...
Bad word.
Yeah,
but,
that's all right. We'll let it go.
But, I mean, yeah, he gets like 18 catches. It's just like, well, this is crazy.
Yep. He just goes off, and everybody's like, oh, yeah, Keenan Allen's really good. Yeah, I'd agree. This team... loaded roster. The offense is the reason I like them in this division because as we get to some of the other teams, I think they are going to be a tough team to beat due to their offense. I do have let me phrase this. The defense is phenomenal. Yeah. My concern is they didn't really do anything to address the issues they had last year when they ran into the playoffs, which is if you can't get pressure on a guy like Tom Brady, he's going to sit back and pick off the style of defense they run because they run the 3-4. And you go, well, they have Joey Bosa. Yeah, but Joey Bosa, you have to rub in bubble wrap and ice packs, and he still might not make it to the end of the season. So that is a concern. The only concern for me is they did that thing like when the Schottenheimer way back when. You remember those teams? They always went like 12-4. And you'd be like, how are they not in the Super Bowl? Because they just were complacent and didn't really improve the holes year to year. I am slightly concerned that once again this year, they'll end up like 12-4. But it'll come to the playoffs, and they'll once again fall to like a Patriots or somebody because they can't get any pressure on a quarterback who just picks them apart.
Yeah, I think that's possible. I feel like the story of this team has been the same for like a dozen years. Almost pretty much Phillips' entire career has been health. They're always hurt.
Yep.
Their wide receivers are always getting injured. But yeah, like you said, Joey Bosa, I mean, he's a short career so far, but he's an unbelievable player, but he does get banged up a lot. I mean, they have talent. They got Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram on the line. Mm-hmm. They did sign Thomas Davis. I mean, I know he's a dinosaur at this point, but I mean, he's still a good player. I mean, he knows what he's doing on the field. And they have Derwin James, who is a stud. Derwin James is so good. I actually was looking at their like recent drafts, and this is crazy to me. Like this is why they're good, and this is why like a team like the Skins suck. So 6 out of their last 9 first-round picks have all been in Pro Bowls. That's sick.
That's nuts.
That is sick. And that's some of these guys that have been drafted within like the last like 3 years. A lot of these guys are also Pro Bowlers, like Bosa, Derwin James. I mean, yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, so they draft well. That's why they're always good. But yeah, I have them also, like you said, I think you said 12-4. I have them going 12-4, first place. I don't know if they'll do anything in the playoffs, though.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the same thing. They have been the same team, as you alluded to, the entire time Phillip Rivers has been there. Yeah. An awesome regular season team that just runs through their schedule, and then they get to the playoffs, and they're usually banged up, or they just didn't fix certain holes that they had, and then they fade out to a I won't even argue necessarily a better team. I know it's stupid to say because like the Patriots obviously went on to win the Super Bowl and were a great team, but like there are times, especially with those old Schottenheimer teams, you're like, man, how did they not just become a dynasty? But that's the Belichick effect. The rosters, I mean, not the roster. The schedule is favorable to them. I like them to be first in the division, which goes hand in hand as to why the next team I have a second in the division. No surprise here. Patrick Mahomes, Showtime Mahomes, Kansas Chiefs. Kansas Chiefs were busy in letting go of talent. They let go of Justin Houston, Eric Berry. They did franchise tag D Ford, but just right there, Justin Houston and Eric Berry kind of jumped right off the page. They lost Kareem Hunt for obvious reasons. We don't know what's up with the Tyreek Hill situation and whether he's going to be available for any part of the season or how much of it. I have them going second in the division. Spoiler alert, as we'll get into here, just because that defense is atrocious. Yes, they signed Tyrann Matthews. And I also think just offensively, I mean, if Tyreek Hill can't go, obviously your best weapon is Travis Kelce, but in the wide receiver game, it's Sammy Watkins. And, I don't know where you're getting there.
Yeah, and Sammy Watkins is more of a name than he is a player. I mean, he's had one really good season, I'd say, but Sammy Watkins, in my opinion, has been underwhelming and underperforming. But, I mean, and yeah, like you said, they lost a lot of talent. I know you said they franchised D Ford, but they also traded him to the Niners, so they don't have D Ford anymore.
Right.
Yeah, but they traded for Frank Clark.
There we go.
But they signed him to a massive contract, and they got rid of a first and a second to acquire him. So, I mean, it's just you're getting rid of a first and a second, then you sign him to a $105 million deal. Obviously, it's not all guaranteed. But, I mean, why would you do that if you had D Ford and you could just re-sign Justin Houston? I think you could have probably saved money by keeping them. So, I mean, while I think they probably will end up second in the division, I'm a little concerned about the Chiefs this year. I just think they're kind of lacking. I mean, they lost just a lot of talent. I mean, like you said, they lost Kareem Hunt. I don't expect Tyreek Hill to play. The only thing I will say about the Chiefs is I would never be concerned about their running backs. They go from Priest Holmes to Larry Johnson, then they go to Jamal Charles, and then they go to Kareem Hunt. I mean, they've been set there for 20 years. I'm sure Damian Williams, whoever is next, will be perfectly fine. They also got Carlos Hyde.
Yeah.
Who I think it's his fourth team by now.
Yeah.
Niners, Browns, Jags, Chiefs. I think this guy his talent is not being used 100% yet. I think Carlos Hyde could be a good player. I think Andy Reid, if anyone can get it out of him, it will be Andy Reid. So I think that could be a down low signing that no one really realizes happened that could pay off for them. But I'm a little concerned. I could see him going 9-7 or 10-6. I think they take a step down this year.
I agree. Carlos Hyde has been on everybody's fantasy team at one point or another.
Yes.
For calling it what it is. I'm also concerned about, obviously you have Patrick Mahomes, but if anything happens to him, the only quarterback you have on the roster is Chad Henne. That is not good.
Who knew he was still in the league? I mean, it's crazy.
I agree, which is so funny because I got snake bitten by the thing that I never want to do because NFL football is so week to week, so year to year, nothing's guaranteed. But as soon as the Kansas City Chiefs lost last year, I remember myself saying it, oh, this team's probably going to be fine. They'll be back in it. It's not a terrible loss, which is so dumb because that goes against everything I ever believe. And when we got to this point so far in the year, I'm looking at this team going, yeah, I don't know if they're going to get to the potential playoffs. They're benefiting from a potentially weak division.
Yes.
But, man, are they – you also have Andy Reid, who is arguably the second best coach in football.
Yeah.
One of the best quarterbacks who could have a drop-off because there just isn't talent around him. If Kelce goes down – who has been known to be injured from time to time, I don't know what you do offensively.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Agreed 100%. Kelce gets nicked up. Sammy Watkins is going to get fucking hurt. I mean, he always gets hurt.
He's got.
So who's your next wide receiver? Yeah, I mean, who's your next wide receiver? I looked at the names. I was like, I don't know them. I don't know them. I don't know them. I mean, it was crazy. So Sammy's 100% going to get hurt.
There.
But, I mean, so Sammy will go down. This team is just. But like you said, last year, they had Tyreek, Kareem Hunt, Patrick Mahomes. They're all 25 and younger. I'm like, oh, this team's fine. They have Super Bowls in their future. But, man, an offseason, a lot can change.
Correct. It's a benefit for Andy Reid, like we said. The schedule isn't too bad. I mean, the benefit is, they got to play the AFC South, which that could get them some wins. The back end of their schedule, though, is horrendously bad for them. We're not doing week to week, but they go in the last 6 games: Chargers, Raiders, Patriots, Broncos, Bears, at Bears too, Chargers. That's not good.
4 or 6 potential losses. I mean, yeah, that's hard.
I mean, we'll see what the
Raiders are. Did I
Raiders
hear the
are.
Pats in there?
Yes, the Pats are at Patriots too. They go at Patriots, then they have the Broncos, and then they have at Bears, then Chargers.
Yeah, I mean, that ain't easy.
No. I think this is definitely a year they step down, which is nice for both of our favorite teams, the Chargers, to take the first in the AFC West. None of this tie nonsense that was last year with the 12-4 nonsense. That's all I have on them.
Yeah, same.
Keeping it with the most entertaining teams, the Oakland Raiders. Hard Knocks is calling you. This team is boom or bust if I've ever seen a team.
They are.
I don't know. First of all, the draft was very interesting because you had what everybody believes is a stretch in getting Farrell out of Clemson. Who knows? He could be a very good player. He was good in college. Bit of a stretch. Josh Jacobs, Alabama running backs have been hit or miss. He's a bruiser, though.
Yeah. I wasn't in love with him, I'll be honest.
Yeah, he's a bruiser. He doesn't have a lot of tread on him, but once again, tall, big running backs haven't really fared that well out of Alabama, outside of Derrick Henry, obviously, who's doing pretty good, but he also benefits from a 2-back system.
And he's just starting to really benefit.
Exactly. Yep.
I need to see Derrick Henry a whole another year.
Agreed. But Raiders went out and made some big-time moves.
He did.
AB is obviously the biggest move they made. I don't know if Derek Carr is the guy to run the show on this boomer bust personality run team.
That's my issue with this boomer bust, like you said, team as well. Does he have the mentality to survive is my question. Because I'm sure you've heard as well, but I've seen like rumors and stuff that he didn't even have the mentality to survive like John Gruden.
Yeah.
So,
Gruden's tough, but
yeah, I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's a big pain in the ass. He probably pisses everyone off. He's probably so annoying. He's probably ridiculous. But then you include Antonio Brown, and you bring like a psycho like Vontaze Burfict. I know he's on the other side of the ball, but he can't do any good.
No.
Yeah, I do wonder if Derek Carr can handle all that. And I'm like, when I was looking at this team, I was like, man, if they had a stud quarterback, this is potentially a pretty good team.
Dude, that quarterback camp is the who's of has-beens. It's Mike Glennon from our high school, which I do love Mike Glennon, but let's be honest, his career has not panned out. Nathan Peterman and Landry Jones. That is who you have outside of Derek Carr to potentially inject into this team if he doesn't do well.
This team is just missing a quarterback. I know it's hard to find quarterbacks, so I get it, but they're missing a quarterback. And then they also have a lot of money sunk into the wide receiver position. Obviously Brown has his massive contract. I think they overpaid for Tyrell Williams. They paid him I think it was 4-year, like $45 million. I think his best season was 700 yards. I know contracts, they go up and up and up. I get it, but that's a lot of money tied in to your wide receivers. But I like some other pickups they had. They got linebacker Brandon Marshall, LaMarcus Joyner. They have talent.
Pick up.
I like him. He's very good. Yeah, he's a good player.
Yeah. But Burfict's going to be wild. Him and Antonio Brown, that's why we need Hard Knocks. Yes. Them during training camp is going to be a spectacle.
It definitely would be. It's a good chance it's the Raiders, but I think there's a better chance it's them next year. But unless they shock the world and make the playoffs, but I don't think they will. It's a weird team, though. There is talent.
Yeah. They're boom or bust. It's either going to work or it's not. But I just don't think Carr is going to allow it to work. The one thing I will say is they do have a very favorable – well, I'm not going to say very favorable. They have a schedule that allows for them to get some wins because they're playing teams like the Bengals and the Jets where, once again, like we said, the Jets loaded with talent but also sort of a boom or bust, which Adam Gase –
They have the Dolphins too.
They have the Lions are in there, which who knows about them. Titans, who knows about them.
I know, yeah.
So there's a couple wins sprinkled in there, but they've also got some very tough games with like right off the bat, they're going Broncos, Chiefs, Vikings, Colts, Bears, Packers, Texans, and then the Lions. I mean, they could start out.
I actually remember looking at that schedule. Right when you said that, I remember like, oh my God, 0 for 1, 0 for 2, 0 for 3. Oh, shit. Yeah, I forgot. I completely forgot about that, and that probably explains why I wrote down that I think they're going to go 5-11. I do think it's going to blow up. I don't think it's going to be a success.
Yeah.
So I have 5.
They could easily start 0-7 and not get a win until week 8. Like, that is a very real possibility, which, if you're a Raiders fan, we just talked about Derek Carr, might not be the worst thing because I don't know if you've heard, there's some good quarterbacks in this upcoming draft, prospects, so that could be your thing. They're probably a year or two. Oh, and they signed Richie Incognito, which
oh God, yeah,
just putting together a team of just
why? I don't know why you'd sign that man. I mean, like 6 months ago, the guy was throwing free weights at people at a public gym.
Yep.
I mean, not even in the football gym, in a public gym. That's like if I was there, just like curling 25s, and all of a sudden Richie Incognito fucking hurls an 80-pound kettlebell my way. Are you kidding me?
Him and Burfict should go well as well. It's all going to go well.
Yeah, Richie's lead blocking right into Vontez Burfict. Oh, God.
He pulls.
Yeah, are you kidding me? Vontez just straight at the knees, dude.
Hard Knocks is going. I don't even know why we act like it's anywhere else. It's definitely going to the Raiders.
Probably.
All righty, last one. Denver Broncos. The 6-10 team. The arguably running for – it's tough because he does have a Super Bowl, but John Elway is in the running for one of the worst GMs ever. And it goes in the whole idea that, like, these star players – I don't know why we keep going this route because we see it happen so many times. Jordan, Magic, Elway, where Dan Marino had a hand in the Miami back in the day. And they were terrible. Oh, yeah. This man can't pick a quarterback. He's got Joe Flacco on the roster. He went with Drew Lock. I don't know about the Broncos. I don't see how they really improved all that much.
No, I don't really either. Personally, I over the last few years, I actually kind of developed a disrespect and hatred towards the Broncos a little bit because I remember 2 years ago they had Kirk Cousins on their team before he even played his last season with us. And I'm just like, will you fans shut the hell up? Like, we still have him on our team. He hasn't even played his last season. Just shut up. So their fans started annoying me a long time ago. But I'm with you on John Elway. Congratulations, you acquired Peyton Manning and won. I mean, yeah. I could have done that. But since then, he's just had a quarterback carousel. He picked Paxton Lynch as his first-round quarterback 1 year. He's out of the league. He then signed Case Keenum to a fat contract and is still paying him for us, thank you, this year. And then they picked Drew Lock. He just likes really tall quarterbacks. I don't know.
Loves them.
They have Flacco. Yeah, he just loves tall quarterbacks. I'm not a Joe Flacco guy, so I'm not expecting him to go in there. I like Cortland Sutton. I don't know what to expect from Emmanuel Sanders, who I love as a player, but he's coming off a torn Achilles, and he's 31. So, and he's a guy who has always relied on perfect route running, such a crisp receiver. And I don't know, after an Achilles, can you still do that? I don't know. But I don't really like this team. I like their defense. I'll say that. I like Bradley Chubb, Von Miller, Chris Harris. They have a good defense, but but this team just they lack playmakers outside of Philip Lindsay, but they lack impacting players.
Yeah, the running back position solid. Love Philip Lindsay, Royce Freeman, Dante Booker. One guy gets banged up, you got some good options there. The quarterback, I mean, that's just a mediocre room. You got Kevin Hogan and Drew Lock backing up Joe Flacco, who, maybe's good for a couple games, but really without much talent around him, I don't know what you're going to – it's just going to be pound the rock and rely on the defense, which in the NFL gets you actually pretty far when you rely on the defense, but it doesn't get you to the finish line. And in a division where offense is definitely prevalent, I mean, the Chargers, the Chiefs – the potential of the Raiders having an explosion on offense, if Derek Carr does well, you're going to have to put up some points, and they don't have a lot. They got Jake Butt out of Michigan. I mean, we'll see how he does. He's coming off of an injury, though, a knee injury. But, yeah, the defense is great. The Broncos are just going to do the same. They're going to sit at like 6-10. They're probably going to finish third, and they're not going to move much. Like the needle has not moved in Denver one bit since that Super Bowl, and they have fallen back from what arguably was set up as an awesome base with really young, good defense and decent offensive talent where you just had to get a half-competent quarterback, and John Elway has yet to figure it out.
Honestly, yeah, the year after Peyton won and it was clear that he could no longer play the position, I was like, if they get, it's hard, easier said than done, but if they got a quarterback that could play, I'm like, they could probably just win again.
Yeah.
That Super Bowl team was so talented.
Yes.
The defense was sick. The offense, the receiving core, it was a talented team, but Elway's just kind of. I like the number one pick. I like Noah Fant. I think he's a good player.
Yep.
They signed like Kareem Jackson. They needed help in their secondary, but he's an old corner. Old corners aren't going to move the needle really.
No,
but
they're not.
I'm with you. I'm 6-10 as well.
Yeah, they've got some gauntlet of games where it's not an awesome, but that defense. In the NFL it's week to week, but a very good defense can win you a good chunk of games. Not going to get you very far without an offense that can put up points. We'll see how they do. Lindsey Phillips is really their playmaker, and we all know the story when you rely heavy on running backs. You run them out early, so I don't have them going very far.
And he's tiny.
Yeah, and he's tiny. Does not help, but I do like him. Yeah. To sum up the AFC West, it is a boomer bust, entertainment central. Mm-hmm. Chiefs win it, though, I think, and or not the Chiefs. Chargers win it, and the Chiefs benefit from not having a very competitive division as a whole.
Yeah, I think the competition for second place is pretty much like the Chiefs.
Yep.
I really think the Chargers are kind of run away with this one this year.
Cool. Well, that does it for that. Any final thoughts?
Not really.
I got two.
Oh, nice.
Two final thoughts.
Excellent.
First, summer baseball season, gentlemen and ladies out there. I know we shit on baseball, but I did go to a game on Friday. There is something to say about going to a nice, cool evening game, having a couple beers, little peanuts, the bats are chirping. Great time. So summer baseball's back. Buy a cheap ticket. Take yourself to a game. It's a lovely time.
Yeah.
My big final thoughts. The NCAA is having a rough couple of days here. We only do one show a week, so we missed a couple at the end of it. Two big things that I noticed. One of them flew under the radar, I think. The other one was the R.J. Hampton, signed with the New Zealand Breakers. That is a shot directly across the bow at professionalism for the college basketball and starting play players. But the biggest takeaway from this is Doug Gottlieb once again looks like a jackass because he is taking L's left and right. Did you see his tweet on R.J. Hampton?
I don't think I did, but I'm all ears.
R.J. Hampton agreeing to sign in New Zealand a month ago and only telling coaches this week is about as classless as they come. I blame his parents. Call the coaches. Tell them your decision. They all would have wished him well and moved on. What a DB maneuver. Shut up. He, of course, then just got dragged through the coals.
Oh, of course.
Because, one, this is so out of touch with what coaches do literally all the time.
Yeah.
And two, it's just so dumb going after an 18-year-old who made a business decision and was like, I don't want to go to college. I'm not trying to be an NBA athlete. It does not help. He had the weed is probably better than opioids, probably. Yeah. Shut up, Doug. We're not in the time where Reefer Madness was an educational movie. It's just been a bad week for Doug Gottlieb. The second thing, which is even funnier to me, as the NCAA will start to shove down our throats here this fall that they are about student athletes and it's not about a business. Texas football highly promoting their GPA in a tweet goes, more than football, highest semester GPA in team history, 2.89. And then they, in big letters, put prepared.
Prepared to just pass.
C's get degrees, but man, that is bad.
I lived by that many years myself.
Yeah, it's just man. We all know these kids are not really they're not being prepared well for the education, but probably not the best idea to promote the highest GPA ever as being a 2.89.
That's hysterical. I love that.
That's all I got.
That's a good way to end it. I like it.
Yep. Until next week. Peace.
Later.
Yeah, the Doug Gottlieb thing. Oh.
Hysterical.
2.9.
2.89. Prepared. The funniest thing I've ever heard in my life.
I love it. Just like, God, you guys are idiots.